My name is Ben Offit. I'm a certified financial planner. The name of my company is Clear Path Advisory. I'm a principal there. We're an independent financial planning company. I've been in this field for 9 years since I graduated from college. I was an entrepreneurship major in college, so I definitely believe very heavily in the business mindset, the entrepreneurial life. I think that there's a balance that you can have between investing in your business and then also investing outside of your business. It doesn't have to be all one or the other. I think a lot of times entrepreneurs tend to think that, my only financial objective is to build this business and everything I have, every nickel, every dime, all my heart and my soul goes into this. And I can understand that. I mean, it's your baby, but there's also the opportunity to be smart financially and diversify and not have all of your eggs in one basket. Because ultimately, if your business doesn't succeed, you want to have the opportunity to fall back on other financial metrics, and that could take 10 or 15 years for your business to succeed or fail. So if you go 10 or 15 years and your business succeeds, that's great. Maybe you have an exit, maybe you have a liquidity event, which is phenomenal, but maybe you don't. So you need to be prepared the other way as well. So I think that there's definitely room to do both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can save money consistently, even with the salary that you have that you're paying yourself from your own business. You can insure properly. You can not rack up tons of debt. You can take care of your employees. You can have plans in place, all the while building your business successfully. So I think there's definitely an opportunity to do things the right way with your business and your own finances as well. The mental component of being successful as an entrepreneur is very important. A lot of times I think about an entrepreneur as really like a world-class athlete. Some of the top athletes not only have physical skills, but they have mental skills as well. And I think that as an entrepreneur, you need to be constantly feeding your brain a positive mindset and a growth-oriented mindset, and think about your goals and your objectives and what you want to accomplish and thinking big. And I think that if you plant the seeds in your brain of what you want to have happen, more often than not, I think that those seeds will grow and flourish. But if you plant the wrong seeds, or you think about the wrong things, then that also has a tendency to come to fruition. So be very careful about what you think about, how you program your mind. Make sure that you're very strong mentally with what you're thinking about and where you're going with your business. I think just something else that one could think about as a business owner, unrelated to financial planning, is really their go-to market strategy and how they get clients for their business. I just think that you need to think about who is my client, who's my prospect, and then how do I find those people to serve them. And if you think about who those people are, what demographic they are, where they are, there's a phrase, fish where the fish are. If you're trying to catch fish, don't go fishing in the desert. Go fishing in a lake that has a plentiful amount of fish. So just think about very clearly, who is my target, who is my prospect, where's my client, where are they, how can I be around them as much as possible, how can I cater to them, how can I be attractive to them, find ways to interact with that type of person as much as possible so you can attract them to your business. When you have your own business, something else to be mindful of is when you're growing a team of employees and people in your company, I think there's always pressure to raise their salaries, increase their compensation as time goes on. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the employees will work harder or better. Something that you could do instead is to have something like a bonus plan or a deferred compensation plan where you tie the employee's compensation into the profitability of the company or the growth of the company, so that there's not just an increase in their salary, but you actually link their compensation in the future to how the company grows, and that creates a win-win for both of you because you get what you want in terms of a motivated employee and the company growing, and then they get a raise, but in the form of longer-term compensation. This can feature a vesting schedule, which can tie them into staying with the company on a long-term basis, whether that's 5 years or 7 years or 10 years or longer. So you can ensure that they're there for a longer term time frame to align their interests with yours. if they leave prematurely, then they might not be entitled to all of those benefits. So it's kind of a golden handcuff, so to speak. You can also structure it where you can deduct that compensation today or in the future if you want. You also can use a life insurance policy tied to that, so it can create a key person insurance element. So it can be a very unique concept, to align your interests with your employees and get some other ancillary benefits out of it as well. I think financial planning for an individual is very family focused, and it's all about personal discipline, taking care of your family and your retirement and your future, and it actually can be quite emotional. Planning for your business is not necessarily pertaining to your family as much as it is about you and your partners and your employees. It's more focused on how do we grow the business, how do we impact the bottom line, how do we position the business for value long term, how do we protect it from mistakes that could derail the business. So there are some overlaps between personal financial planning and business planning, but I would say probably the main difference is personal planning is about you and your family, and then business planning is about you and your partners and your employees. I think as a business owner, there's also the opportunity to do tax planning. You have a lot of opportunity when you run and own your own business to be creative and to deduct a lot of your expenses, which can be advantageous if you do things the right way. We don't want to do things the wrong way, where you're artificially creating low income, but you do have the opportunity to pursue things like a retirement plan, in which you can put a lot of money away on a pre-tax basis, and that allows you to reduce your taxable income. So as a self-employed business owner and entrepreneur, there's a ton of opportunity to put a lot of money away on a pre-tax basis. You also can buy equipment and tools for your business that you can also use in your personal life that are also deductible for your business. Also, you can utilize meals and expenses and travel for your business that are legitimate but also can be deductible as well. There's certainly opportunity to be strategic in how you plan tax-wise when you run your own business. So be mindful of that. You can talk further with your financial advisor or have a good CPA on your team as well, and that's important to think about. It's a good question. I think that the financial planner, financial advisor space is overcrowded, and I think that there's so many to choose from, and there's so much noise out there. And I think the difficult thing for consumers is that it's hard to differentiate who does what or what makes one financial planner different from another. People see the term financial advisor or financial planner and they assume that everyone does the same thing, but the reality is that everybody does things very differently. It would be probably similar to, let's assume that you say, I want to go get something for lunch, and you say you want to go to a restaurant. Well, every restaurant's going to have a different menu. One restaurant might focus on Italian food, while another restaurant might focus on Mexican food. Totally different kinds of cuisine, but just because they're a restaurant doesn't mean they do the exact same thing. So with a financial planner, there's many advisors that are more focused on products, mainly insurance products or bank products. Then there's other advisors who are more focused on investment solutions only. And then there's other financial advisors who are more focused on planning at the core. So I think it's a good idea to ask your advisor how they get compensated, where do they make their money, what do they focus on, how do they serve their clients, do they have a parent company? Just really get a fine understanding of who they represent, how they structure their compensation, what services they provide, because it's going to vary from one advisor to another. I think one of the best qualifications to look for is that they have their CFP or their Certified Financial Planner designation as a fundamental baseline criteria. That means that they have a lot of experience, they have a lot of knowledge, they have ethics requirements, continuing education requirements. So that's a first and foremost. But I think it comes down to what services you're looking for. I think if you're looking for a robust, holistic financial planner that really serves business owners and personal family needs and does it on insurance, investments, financial planning, I think you'd probably want to look for, in my opinion, an independent financial planner, because that means that they're not going to be skewed towards any one provider or company or methodology. They'll be able to represent all of them and really just represent you at their core because they don't have any allegiances or biases. I think it's important to look for a fee-based financial planner because that means that they're actually paid to do financial planning as opposed to just selling products or selling investments. It means that they're actually there to provide advice at their core, And feel free to do a background check on them. There's resources out there on the web that you can look up their history, ask friends and family their thoughts on that person, research their firm, ask them the hard questions. Make sure that you also trust them with your gut, because that's also a big criteria that you must fulfill. And trust is really the most important thing in that relationship. If that's not there, then it's not going to work. I think as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of things to think about. It could be overwhelming and it can be lonely. I think it's important to have a good team around you, and not try to do it alone, because I think that if you can build your bench, you build a roster of people that are looking out for you and that have expertise in areas that you don't have, I think that can be beneficial for you and your company. Consider a financial advisor, consider a great attorney, a great accountant, a real estate agent, a banker, a mortgage lender, maybe a bookkeeper, maybe a marketing person, maybe a business coach, and then have a board of advisors that you can meet with and talk to regularly that have your best interests at heart. And I think if you do that on a consistent basis, that'll lead to more success long term for you and your company.